Welcome everybody to the very first call of 2025. We are excited here to have you join us. We are so grateful for each one of you and for all that you're doing. We have an amazing year ahead of us. And so this is the Success Team Live Younger call for January the 7th. Can you believe it? And we have a couple great lineups today of some really exciting things. And we want you all to feel like you're part of this call. So I'm going to, first of all, turn it over to Pete Redekop, our fearless leader. And we're going to try to get through all of our wonderful agenda. And it's going to be a power-packed evening. So stay tuned. And thanks again for coming. Over to you, Pete.
Good evening to everyone, and happy 2025 to each and every one of you out here tonight. And so glad you could take the time out to join us on this very special webinar, the very first one of 2025. So I want to start off this evening by just really sharing with you how excited I am to be here. 2024 has been a challenging year, the final quarter, of course, but I'm excited to have so many wonderful warriors, and they're here in this room tonight, and I'm just super excited to be heading down to Florida this week. Hi, Lynette, Robin, Gregory, we're all going to be down, and I've got some exciting things I want to share tonight in regards to the new year. We've got a lineup tonight that's going to be just incredible here with Carl and Judy, and but before we go into that, I want to just open it up here to sharing with you that I've asked our wonderful sponsor, my upline sponsor, Kai Jacobson, to be on this call. And I think what I'm going to do here, rather than me going into what my goals and some visions that I have, I want to turn it over to Kai. He's down in Puerto Rico. Hannah and I were just there recently after the Punta Cana trip, and it was such a lovely time with Kai and Lynette together, and we get to see them again this Saturday on the cruise, so we're excited about that. So I want to turn it over to Kai Jacobson. Kai is going to be sharing some things and giving us that incredible 30,000-foot view. So please welcome my sponsor and one of my best friends, Kai Jacobson.
Well, thank you, Pete, and thank you, everybody. We're becoming more and more like a family. It feels very special. And, you know, we've been in some trainings a lot. I had the opportunity to do with Carl with a great training with Bill Walsh the other day. And, you know, we're learning all these techniques and all these things about how to build your business and, you know, very high end stuff like, you know, using AI and everything. And it kept coming up in my heart that it's all about love. You know, it's just really about loving. And everything in the world really comes down to that. You know, it's either you're in fear or you're in love. And, you know, if you're in a space of love and surround yourself with, you know, really good people and you're in your heart, just everything works and everything else is small compared to that. And I just want to plant that seed. I know it's such a foundational thing. And I was thinking about what I wanted to speak about tonight a little bit. And I like stories. And I was remembering back on a time in my life when I was building my house for my family, my kids. But my kids, one of them had been born and one was going to be born, and I was building a house in Oregon, and you know, I built a really ambitious house. I hired a friend who was a really good carpenter, and I worked with him, and you know, he cut all the very fancy cuts, and I didn't have a nail gun, so it was hammering, you know, one nail at a time, one nail. And it was a big house, you know, it was 3 bedrooms, 2 stories. And it took us a year to build it. You know, we got all the pieces of wood and we cut each, you know, piece of wood and nailed it up and put the windows in and the doors and the roof and big deck. The deck was almost as big as the house. And I made a big planter on top of the railing on the deck and grew all my herbs and flowers in that with a drip system. And, you know, I looked out upon the farm. I had a farm that I was growing. And, you know, I realized it was one nail at a time. And, you know, but when you came, like people would come, my friends would come, like, you know, over many years later, you know, it was 5-10 years later, they come, the house was still there. I was in it and the farm had grown up and all the trees had grown. I had 40 acres and 10 acres under cultivation. And I planted all the trees and put the drip irrigation. It was all done with gravity from the creek. I put a mile-long pipe up the creek, and I could water 20 rainbirds at a time. And, it was, and people would come there and go, oh my God, this is so incredible. And they saw this picture all in 1 second. Like when they came, it was like all there, but it took, years to build it. One nail at a time, one tree hole at a time. And that's what building your Lifewave business is like. It really is. Like I have a very big network. At this point, my network is over 600,000 people around the world, around the globe. I have over 600,000 people in my line of sponsorship in 70 countries. That's not spillover from, somebody else. That's came from the original seeds that I planted and built. And once I continue to buy it, I've only brought in a couple hundred people, but they grew to be 600,000 from that over time, one nail at a time, one person at a time, one phone call at a time. And so I really wanted to share that piece of wisdom with everybody. You see people maybe like myself who built very big networks, but it all started with one person at a time, one relation, being in the heart, connecting. And it grew. And some people grew really fast in my group. Some people faded away. Some people grew just a little bit. And that's going to happen to all of you. You're going to build a huge team. And the only people that lose are the people that leave. They give up. And that's the only reason that it doesn't happen. So I want to encourage everybody to be one phone call at a time, one person at a time, and really stay with them and stay in your heart. And the more that you help them succeed, the more your team's going to grow. And it doesn't happen overnight, and there's ups and downs, but it's one person at a time. And so when I start looking back, and I think, what I ask people, how's your business going? And they go, well, nothing's happening. It's not going that well. And I go, well, how many new people did you invite to take a look at it today? Well, I didn't really invite anybody today, but I got on this conference call or whatever. And then I might say, well, how many did you invite in the last few days? Well, I didn't invite anybody to look at it yet, but I've been looking in the back office and I've been learning all these different things and da da da. And I go, well, how many people did you invite this week? Well, I didn't really get a chance to invite anybody. How many was less than a month? Well, didn't really invite anyone, but I'm really doing my business because I'm doing this and that. Well, you're not putting one nail in at a time or making one call at a time, inviting somebody to take a look. All we have the power over is inviting people to take a look and then supporting them in the process. If they they decide to get involved, helping them. That's all our business is. It's that simple, but it's about staying steady and building this big house. And it takes time. Some people it goes quicker. Some people a little slower. For me, it was 20 years doing this. But it's so rewarding once it really starts to catch. And I know that Pete's right now really starting to hit that momentum. There's a tipping point where the whole thing tips and it just takes off and has a life of its own once there's a lot of people who made their home here. So I just wanted to share that perspective with the new year is, be steady and every day invite somebody. Put a nail in that. If I wasn't putting a nail in, if I waited a week before I put a nail in the house, my house never would have gotten built. So it's one nail at a time, one person at a time. Be steady, be in your heart. Don't give up. And really do everything you can to help each person you're working with succeed. That's what this business is. People make it really complicated, but it isn't. It's that simple. So that's what I'd like to share today.
Thank you so much, Kai, for sharing that. And I'm not sure, is my video showing to you guys or not?
Yes.
I'm in two computers here, and I'm
Good.
not seeing it here. But okay, all's good then. Yeah, I'm super excited to be here tonight, and I'm super excited to see you, Kai, and Lynette this coming Saturday as we embark on this journey with Bill Walsh and the Marketers Cruise. So super excited about that. Looking forward to seeing you, and I want to thank you, Kai, for your vision, you sharing your goals and the 30,000-foot view, as we always like to call it. And I had my ups and downs this year, and one thing I want to share from the heart is I'm so thankful for each and every one of you, the people on our team, the people that made it happen, the Judys, the Carls, the Lanas, and just as so many, the Roger Crollas. I mean, there's so many wonderful people that I could recognize in the group, and that's what makes a team, is a solid foundation of amazing people that are all doing their part and moving forward. as most of you know, we had an amazing run in the fall there with the Black Friday and the Cyber Monday. Those 2 weeks there, we had incredible volume, as most of you probably experienced. And I had a very aggressive goal that I had set. That was to make the presidential director, but we fell 3,000 points short of making it. It was so close. Now, did I get discouraged? Oh, yeah, for about 5 minutes. But you know what? You throw out the date and you set the goal again. So what I'm doing for 2025, and I just want to be very transparent and share this, I'm doubling down. Not only are we going to make presidential director here in 2025, but we're also going to make senior presidential director in 2025. So that's the mentality that a leader has. And I've always had that attitude. If I make a goal, set a goal, and I fall short of the goal, I do not throw out the goal. I adjust the date, I throw the date out, and we align again. So it is so exciting to be working.
Your voices have fun.
Are you guys hearing me? Hannah says I have no voice, no audio.
We're
Yes, we
hearing
hear
you.
you.
Yep.
You're fine.
No, it's all good. So the other thing that I wanted to share here on top of that is many of you I know are tracking for the Punta Mita trip that Lifewave had launched and the convention here in Dallas. And they did some communication in regards to that. And I know many of you are possibly tracking for that. And I'm super excited because we just added a few more points to our Punta Mita today again. And we are ever so close. And we should have it wrapped up here in the next 2-3 weeks. And I'm super excited about that. Now, did I do that by myself? No. It took a team of people to do that. And it takes just incredible consistency and leadership to do that. I know I have people tracking, and one of those people you're going to hear from very briefly tonight. But before we go to Lana, Lana's in Regina, Saskatchewan, and Hannah and I have just had a great time working with her and her team and Karen Hollowas, and she's got some power, some firehouse power beneath her. But I had asked Lada, who's out from Abbotsford, BC, same town Judy Friesen's from. And I remember my first conversation with Lada. Lada had the idea that Judy was her competition. I said, no, Lada, she's not your competition. Just because you're in a different line, you guys can work together as partners the same way Carl and Judy do, even though they're in separate lines. But you're all under the same umbrella. You work together as a team unit, and look at the energy flow. So Lada, if you'd like to unmute yourself, I'd love to hear from you. We'd all love to hear from you. 1 minute in regards to what is happening in your business since you became a manager, and how you're implementing the power of the patch on a day-to-day basis. So Lada, the microphone is all yours. 1 minute.
Sure. Thanks, guys, and Happy New Year. This is exciting to enter 2025. I'm from Regina, Saskatchewan, and we started, I guess, building this business in about September of 2024. So it's been a joyride since that time, and we've had the opportunity to meet most of our team, lots of our extended team in Winnipeg in October, and we had about 11 of us that attended as well. So it all started when I connected with, of course, Pete and Hannah, and I'm so grateful for you guys that you came in to meet me at my store. But then I connected with a really good friend of mine who is Karen Hollowas, and I'm so grateful that she shared the same vision as I did and saw the potential behind the product line that I did. I'm a health food store owner, and I have yet to see anything that works this quickly, and it gives people a sense of hope. And that's what I'm all about for 2025, is a sense of hope and a building a new beginning in 2025. So I just want to say thank you too, because we pushed the director rank in a few short months, and Karen and Jamie were such a big part of that, and Darla Martins, and oh my goodness, there's so many other people that I just want to say thank you to. Melissa Audette has stepped in with us now, and our team is growing, and we're all very committed. So I just want to give a couple of points of things that we've done to set up 2025. We had a meeting actually on Sunday, just a group of 4 of us, to start planning in-person meetings. So we've got 2 planned, for one in January and one in February. And my goal is to achieve senior director by the end of April. That's my personal goal. And I know the only way that we do this is by helping others. And there was one time that Pete's put it really well to me. I was so overwhelmed before Christmas, and he said, keep having servant heart. And I thought that really resonated with me. And sharing this amazing gift of health with others, we know it works. We know it's proven, and I just have such confidence in it that you know, being a servant and having a servant heart and sharing with others is just going to be the natural way of growing a business and caring. I love what Kai said. It comes from the heart. It all comes from love. So yeah, we all embrace that. And I think that is at the core of it, is gathering the people, first of all, that are in our proximity and sharing the energy and the synergy together. And yeah, planning some events. That's what we're going to be focused on, is getting people in a room together and laughing and smiling and caring and sharing, and hopefully having some others that will join in this really awesome, fun business.
Well, thank you so much, Lana. It's been a pleasure working with you, and we just see the power that you have, the energy, the influence that you have, and how you are just a giver from the heart naturally. So we appreciate you so much. Now, I did, I know Lada and Lana sound very similar. I did ask for Lada there to come on, and she had agreed to share a 1-minute testimony real quickly. Lada, are you able to come on and just share real quickly? I'm going to ask you to unmute Lada and just real briefly, 1 minute, share a little bit about your love for the patches and your energy and reaching the manager level, if you are available, Lada, right from Abbotsford, BC. I'm not sure if I think she's on, but I'm not sure if she's able to speak. So Lada, if you're able to, just unmute real quick, please.
Hi, I'm Lada, and I'm happy to be at Lifewave. I am a nurse, and I have passion to help people to heal, because I've been working in a care home for many years, and never forget when people are admitting to the care homes, they would say, I wish we could go traveling. We were planning when we retired to have a good life, and now my husband or wife is sick and we cannot do basically anything. So I have passion to help other people, and thank you for having these meetings so I can bring others to these meetings. Yeah, thank you.
Great to have you with us, Lada, and you're in the same town as Judy Friesen is in Abbotsford, BC. So I know you've started doing some little events together as you did today. So congratulations to you, Lada, on your success and making the manager level. We really appreciate you. And Lada was brought in by Clarissa here from Winnipeg. So it's great to have you on the team. All right, as we move along here, I want to turn this over, and I'm not going to spend a lot more time here for the sake of time, but I want to just encourage everybody, if you received an email from Lifewave, if you had 20 points or more in the tracking for Punta Mita, Mexico, you would have received that email, and there's still till February 23rd. There's lots of time yet, guys, to get your points and maintain your rank and get yourself on this incredible trip just north of Puerto Vallarta to this beautiful Punta Mita, Mexico. Done some research on it, guys. It's amazing. So we're going to move along. We want to hear tonight from Karl Krebs. Karl has been very focused. He just recently returned from the Las Vegas conference that Kai had invited him to, and he got to meet Bill Walsh and the whole power team down there and Rainmaker session. And Karl and Judy are going to go back and forth and share, and I'm just so proud of you, Karl, for everything you're doing and some goals that you're setting for 2025. So please unmute yourself, Karl, and take it away, my friend.
Well, I'm going to ask, thank you for that, Pete. And before we get into it, I want to wish everybody an absolutely wonderful 2025. It's a pleasure to work with you in this group. Pete, you're here for a reason, my friend. We nearly lost you twice in 2024. So glad that God has brought you through it. Looking forward to working with you as well. So I'm going to ask Judy to join me as well here. And Judy, why don't you just open it up for a quick question, and I'll get into it.
Sure, sounds good. Yep, we're the dynamic duo. I like to call us.
We do this, so we're all hat with each other.
That's right. We've done lots and lots of Thursday age reversing health calls. In case you don't know, Karl has a age reversing health show that he has graciously invited me to be his co-host on, and so you can look that up on YouTube under Things That Matter and Age Reversing Health. So, but I'm most excited to glean some of the gems from Carl as he went down to Las Vegas and took this special training course. And so let's get started. One of the first questions that I wanted to ask you, Carl, are what are some of the general principles that you learned at Rainmakers that you think would help all of us on this call?
Yeah, and before I get into that again, thank you, Kai, for your generous offer to invite me to attend such a life-changing event. And it truly was, and I don't often say that, but it was. But coming out of the Bill Walsh Power Team and the Rainmaker Summit, I just went through a few things here, and I didn't get past the first 3 pages of my notes, and I could talk for an hour. So forgive me if I'm going to talk quickly, because I want to get some points out to you, and if you want them later, let me know. But what I learned in certain points I want to share with you is that your vision and your goal has to be big enough to scare you in a good way. It has to be almost thought to be slightly out of your reach so that you'll stretch and you'll reach for it. And I'm saying this from a personal conviction. And I loved what Connie Lucas shared on yesterday's call, that she was averse to setting goals because she doesn't enjoy failure, and none of us do. But this is where, this is where you are. It's not about where you are, but where you see yourself. And you cannot fear failing because when you fall short of those goals, you get to move the base camp. Think of a mountaineer who moves the base camp up and says, we can camp from here now, and he's that much closer to the summit. I want you to sort of picture with me some of these analogies that I think are powerful, and the images, which is why we need vision boards, are important so that we see ourselves in not, it's not the failing of meeting the goal, it's how far up did you move, and did you really stretch yourself to get there. And it's okay to fall short of your vision, because at that point where you fall short, and as I said, you get to adjust things. But the thing about failing is that there is more learned in failing than is in achievement. And the greatest example, who is a marker for David Schmidt in his life, was Thomas Edison. And he has a famous saying when he was asked about all of the things that he failed about before he actually invented a light bulb. And he said, I found 1,000 ways how not to create a light bulb. But in the end, he achieved his goal. So we cannot fear failing. And, when it comes to our goals, remember that all distractions are equal. Don't grade them and say, well, this is more. They're all distractions. Anything that takes you away from achieving your goal is an equal distraction to any other. And so we've got to set practical goals. I'm going to share a few in a minute with you, but some examples would be set 5 goals for the next 30 days. Yesterday, Gregory encouraged us to set 90 days. You're not going to eat the elephant in one bite. You got to take it in bite-sized pieces. I always want to talk to people in bits and bites so that they can digest it. And our goals need to be that way as well, so that we can actually move the markers. In football, you want to always be moving the chains down the field. You're not going to score the touchdown from the 30-yard line unless you do a Hail Mary and it works out, and that happens too. Some of us will get there quicker. Keep moving those chains. And again, I'll come back to some practical examples, but in writing your goals, state them in the affirmative. I am versus I really want. There's power in the words that we speak, and our intentions and our hearts and our brains start to kick in. We then see ourselves there, and not being just struggling and straining and wishing and hoping on a prayer. This is about practical, tangible things that we do. So this is empowering language. And I got to tell you, there is no magic in small dreams, guys. There's nothing there that's really worth talking about if your dreams are so small. For those of us that are in the faith community, we serve a big God. And I sometimes think we think our God is so small that when we think and we pray small prayers, we get small answers. Ask for more than you expect to get. Strive for more than you think you can do. And then as you're moving along that pathway, you're going to see some amazing things. I'll take a breather here, Judy. Anything you want to come back to me on here? I can go, trust me.
What I would like you to do is give us a little bit more, flesh that out a little bit when you said I am versus I really want. So could you complete that sentence so we understand what you mean?
For example, Pete has set his intention on achieving his rank advancement and then ending up at SPD. I am an SPD. Think of yourself in that position. And then when you see the goal properly, you understand the steps you need to take. Because guys, we're in math here. This is a basic form of math. And this I'm learning. Trust me, I have done so many things wrong. I should be far further ahead than I am. But I accept that I have not been strategic in my planning. And so what I'm sharing to you is what's deep in my heart. And my goals this year are going to be huge. They actually do scare me. And it's a good scare because not all fear is bad, you know. And so when you see yourself as that, you start to realize that you're going to be that eventually, if you do the things you need to do. So that's a little bit of it. Maybe somebody else could do a better job on it.
Well, that sounds good. That clarifies. So the second question here tonight, because I know we need to wrap up pretty soon, is when you think about customers and prospects and leads, how do they all connect? How do you connect all of those moving parts?
Well, you know what? We say it in that order, and I think of customers and prospects and leads. But guys, this is all about starting with leads. How do we generate leads? Everything we're doing should be with that mindset that we are looking for leads. We're looking for contact information that we can obtain. So simple things like when you have an event and you have a roster of those people, don't just take their names down and don't contact them. Reach out to them. That's another lead. You start to form a database. And I know I had a little conversation, I think, with Kai earlier about revamping databases and developing databases where then we have a very specific way of going to the people with something and saying something and giving them something, not just, hi, how are you? But I have something for you today. You have a database that you're developing. So the leads are going to build the opportunities for the prospects. And that's where we're in the sorting business. We sort out the people that are really just amused by it, as opposed to the people that said, I want to know more. And then we move on. We then have that. And eventually the goal is converting. Again, just like a football game. You're passing, you're running, you're sometimes scrambling in the pocket, but you're moving down that field, and the end game is cross the finish line, convert a lead from a prospect to a customer. This is about math. So, you know, when it comes to that, it's critical, as I said, for building your database, and you got to know your customer. You got to identify who is your perfect customer. Sometimes we define it by age group. We typically go for an age group that is a little more advanced in age because part of our X39 offering is the age reversal and regeneration of our master cells. I want to be careful here. I like to get into that proper language, call it a master cell. And so we got to know our demographic. And you got to know your audience, and you got to know their age, their gender, what is their education level, their income level. Try to be specific in who you're targeting so that you can, you know, again, flesh out that perfect customer if there is one. But ultimately, in this business, as Kai already alluded, people do business with who they know, like, and trust. We have to build those relationships. You have to care. If you don't care, they don't care. And I'm not going to repeat the old adage, which we all know. It's just a blunt fact. If you don't care, people sense that. They size it up and they say, this guy doesn't give a damn about me. Yeah, I do. I want to know about your life. I want to know about your family. I want to know about your kids. I want to know about your grandkids. Tell me, build that relationship, because that becomes the bridge that we can walk on later back and forth as we interact with these people. So we are in that relationship business. And here's a point that I think is really important. And I learned this from my years in the car business, because for all the years that I was in the business, I really didn't solicit customers. They found me. We have to attract customers. That is the business. What is it that they know about us that we exemplify over and over again that causes them to inquire about what is it that you're on about? What is it, this Lifewave thing that you're talking about? You know, I was listening to someone speak the other day, And it was an example in a sermon. And the guy said that he was leaving the business he was in, and he was going to go into ministry. And his employer said, "I didn't even know you were a Christian." I thought that was so funny, because how many people know that you're in this health and wellness, age reversing, all life changing business? We've got to put it out there. Use your social media wherever you are. Use every opportunity. Wear something like this. Wear your patch. I often wear it here. I had it in a CBC interview the other day, and people are going to be looking at this thing. What's that thing on his throat? You know, that is what we're doing. Not in a overly aggressive way, but you know, Judy, you and I, when we were at a conference, we saw the guy wearing the patch there, and and that actually is a primary spot. I thought, what a wonderful, you know, not too audacious kind of way to wear that. What do you got there? Did you hurt yourself? No, I'm healing. That's my healing patch, you know. So some of that stuff, and I know our time is short. I got so much more here, but guys, here's some of the things, and I'll give them to you quickly here. You got to live out your convictions. People got to know what you do. And when you're finding customers, fish in stocked ponds, because it's no longer fishing, it's called catching. Go into those areas where people are. Perhaps you need to volunteer. Perhaps you need to get involved with organizations in order that you meet people. Like in those kind of environments, you tend to meet people that are compassionate. That's why they're there. They care about people. Show that you care. Get into a group. Volunteer your time. You do not know who you will meet, and then you don't know who that person knows. So fish in stocked ponds. Go into those environments and make yourself known and volunteer. So donate your time. And so let me just get to this because our time is short. Here's some practical goals, and I'm borrowing on some of the material that Gregory shared yesterday, which I thought was great, and I'm looking forward to the Thursday call. Here's the thing. Set goals. How much time will you devote to your Lifewave business? How many hours a day? Trust me, as Kai said, if you're not putting nails in, nothing's getting built. If you're not laying a brick where a brick needs to be laid, that house ain't getting built. How many hours a day? Come up with a number. I don't care if it's an hour, if that's all you got. Some of us have limited time, but find a quantity of time that you say, this is my Lifewave time. That's a simple goal that any of us can achieve. How many hours a day will you, and I say day, not a week, because you got to be on this thing. You know, Kai built his house by putting a nail in and several nails in every day. You're laying bricks every day. You got to be working on Lifewave. So that's a practical one. Two more and then we're done. Podcasts. How many will you agree to attend weekly? You can't hit them all. I know it's hard to do. Some of us can't. But pick the ones. And may I suggest this? In order. Sunday, the Doc Talk. Get your people there. I brought two friends there from my home on Sunday. They said, see you for breakfast. We're signing up tomorrow morning. Sunday Doc Talk is powerful. Second to that is Tuesday, which is the webinar presentation that Gregory does. And then we also have an interview with the Doc Talk. That's another great opportunity. If you're not into direct marketing and appealing to people, and I know we don't use the word pitch, but if you're not into, direct solicitation, just invite people. Kai said it earlier. It's all you got to do. Invite people to see what's being offered. And if it's right for them, it'll resonate. So consider that. And again, more tangible, how many people a day, a week, or a month will you contact? This is about numbers. It's all in the math, folks. And I want to share just briefly one thing here. I don't think I can. I got two different things here going. But anyway, I was going to share. Bill Walsh recently posted. He said, persistence plus failing equals success. Let me say it again. Persistence plus failing equals success. Going back full circle is that we learn more in our failures than we do in our success. So with that, I hope you're all blessed. If any of you want to reach back to me and get any of these pointers that we discussed here, I'd be happy to share them. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you all are going to have a wonderful 2025, as I know I am.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Carl. It was great to be part of learning what you gleaned when you were at this amazing seminar. And for 2025, I have decided that, you know what, there is a wealth of new people that every one of us have in our downline if we would just be brave enough to ask for a referral. So many people are just waiting for you to say, hey, do you know one or two people that you wish that you could introduce Lifewave with, but you just haven't got around to? Can I help you do that? Oh yeah, Judy, you say it so much better than I. Then I say to them, let's get on a three-way call. And would you do me that favor of introducing me to somebody that you know that really needs this? And I've determined that I'm going to go through my entire downline and look at all those who probably have somebody in their life that they wish that were on these products, but just they haven't got around to it. And so I want to be very systematic and dogmatic and yet gentle and loving. And I think that that's a goal that I've chosen for myself for 2025. And some of you might say, well, the only thing I can even imagine doing is maybe picking up the phone once a day. And like Kai said, have you talked to somebody this day or this week? But I really believe that we have a wealth of opportunities. We don't have to go looking for a whole lot of other new people. There's a lot of people in our downline that knows somebody else that would love to have residual income or would love to be on these patches or both. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Pete to close out the day.
Thank you so much, Judy and Carl. And I'm a huge fan of your age reversing health. I've shared it many times and I've been on some of them and absolutely just love the energy and the way you guys go back and forth, even though you're in completely separate lines. But you know what? You're under the same umbrella. We're all under Kai. We're all in a success team here. And it's just so amazing to see that energy and that harmony flow. And one thing that's very obvious to me, if you have the 3 C's working, and Judy, you've always got these, and I just want to pick on you here for a second, the caring, the consistency, and the commitment. You even made it tonight. You even verbally said your goal, and you're reaching out to your people, and you're increasing your customer base by asking for referrals. That's such a different approach to maybe Carl's approach, which is a little bit of a different trench, but it's equally powerful. And Carl's going more the direct sales route, more the get on the internet, get on social media, get on platforms. And he's such a great interviewer and he's got a strong, powerful voice. And that style will suit him very well. And I'm extremely proud of both of you. And of course, Lana, for sharing tonight. I really appreciate you, Lana, for sharing your goal for September or for April being a senior director. To me, you know what? That's amazing. When you set an intentional, a direct goal, and I want this goal for this period, this time, and even if you miss it by a little bit, so what? You just throw out the date and you start again. The same thing that I had to do. So I'm really excited. 2025 is going to be great, and we're getting back to Mexico here after this trip. So we'll be in the tropics, be in the warmer climate, and get back to connecting with our Playa del Carmen team again a little closer. And I'm just super thrilled to have each and every one of you here. And if you're listening this via the replay, get excited, get plugged in, get committed, because you know what? I want to emphasize one additional thing before we end this, and that's our friend Daryl McCormick on this call from Portugal. You know what he asked me to do, and I think this is worthy of sharing. He's 8 hours or 10 hours, whatever it is, ahead of us in time. He asked me to give him a call 15 minutes before the webinar so he would wake up and he would get on this call because he so did not want to miss this call. He's sponsored by Santos Bonacci, and he's in the house here tonight. So hats off to you, Daryl McCormick, just for being here. And I know we had Elma planned to speak tonight, but she was a little under the weather. She couldn't. So we'll get her next time. And I'm just proud of people like that just go the extra mile and just care, and their commitment and their consistency is what it's all about in 2025 to make things complete. And it's going to be a winning year, folks. We got so much to look forward to. And Kai, if you're still on, if you want to close it off with a couple more powerful words, I will turn it to you. And if not, if you've left us, I want to thank each and every one of you, and we will see you on the next Tuesday in February. First Tuesday of every month, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Kai, if you're still there and you want a few closing words, love to hear from you.
Well, Pete, sure love what Carl and Judy had to share and what you're sharing. It's so beautiful. And Lana, it's great to meet you. And I see you bubbling up in the numbers down in the group and the team. And it's like, what's going on with her? And yeah, this is going to be a great year. And that little image that I was sharing about the house.
I think your audio cut out, Kai.
Oh,
Your audio went right down.
okay. Well, that's the internet here in Puerto Rico. Can you hear me now?
Very faintly, but how about everybody else? Is this my end or is he faint?
No,
He's
we can hear.
still here.
Yeah, we
Okay.
kind of lost. But
So a little bit of a
audio.
little last piece of the house story.
Oh,
is
perfect.
when people would walk up, they go, "It's so big, it's so amazing, it's so perfect and beautiful. Look at all this, 10-acre farm and ponds and beautiful house and flowers. I planted 100 roses. I got all these bare root hoses from Harry and David's. They were throwing them out, and I just planted them all along my fence, and they all took and grew. So you never know where anything comes from. That shows you that was somebody's waste that was being thrown out and turned into a beautiful hedge of roses. You just never know where the magic is. And it's magical when you see it, time compressed in one moment. You go, oh my God, how could you do that? But one nail at a time, we're all so strong. We're so strong. I mean, I couldn't hold a house together. Like, I'm not that muscular, but one nail at a time, you can build something. You can build a masterpiece that's so big that helps so many people and heal. So many people are going to get healed. I kind of was looking through my group and I realized there's over 114 millionaires that have been created in my line of sponsorship now. That's having a big effect on a lot of people. And there's tens of thousands of people that are making livelihoods from this, not that are millionaires, but have really changed their life. And it just all started with one person. And I know that's real possible for all of you, that you can make a big difference in everybody's life, in their health and in their financial health. And that's a powerful thing to have happen. So welcome to the celebration of life that we're all part of here.
Thank you so much, Kai. Appreciate you so much. Looking forward to seeing you and Lynette on Saturday on the cruise ship. And have a great night, everyone. Love you. Appreciate you so much.